nervous.
The-
but,
the-
like, why am I nervous?
I know. I mean, the worst part is starting it. I have no idea what to do. So I'm just sort of sat here looking at the guests like, hi.
Yeah, totally. It's like, so hey, welcome.
Yeah.
Like, gonna get your like intro little
Yeah,
video.
no, I never did an intro thing. Hey, but hey, welcome back to the Creative Escapade, a podcast about creative folk. Who are you? Who do I have today?
So my name's Sara Webber. I'm 26. I'm a drone operator and an artist, I guess. I don't know if you like broadly say it. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that sort of like relates to more the creative process, like after the drone filming. But yeah.
Yeah. So your business Skypan is sort of based around the drone filming, but then what's the artist side? Is there more you do other than that?
I guess just from my background of like studying landscape architecture, and I've always just, painted and drawn and sketched and all of that kind of thing. And even when it comes to like Photoshop, and I think like sometimes people get a lot more artistic when you're sort of tweaking colors to be unnatural or adding different things to it and stuff. It sort of goes into the realms of art. But yeah, I think if you're sort of like manipulating an image or like editing video or editing a photo in any way, I think that turns you into more of an artist than say just filming it. Although arguably filming it is still artistic as well.
Yeah. No, there'd be a ton of elements that go into it, I imagine. So tell us about your business, Skypan.
So I think I decided in early 2017 that I wanted to fly drones and stuff, but it was one of those things I sort of put off for a while. But I was at Rainbow Serpent Festival. I've been there for a couple of years. But
this is a good story.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of my inspiration, which is like I went up on this hill and I saw this guy there who was looking really, really chilled out. He had this sort of like suspiciously rolled rolly, a bit festive looking. And he was just setting up his drone. I think it was a Phantom 3 at the time. And yeah, just had a little chat, and he was telling me he was like the only drone operator there, and that he gets jobs doing this kind of stuff. And he was doing videography, specifically. And I just saw it and I was like, I really want his job, because I just didn't even realize that was a job. And I think it really merges like my background in loving gaming. And then, I've always loved like remote controlled cars and stuff like that, little helicopters. But until I saw that, I was like, wow, they're actually really accessible to like fly around a camera now. Which, So
was it the sort of exclusivity that sort of attracted you, that it's sort of like a really niche job to do and like a really cool thing to be hired for in, say, places you'd be anyway, like music festivals and
Yeah, definitely. Like it's sort of that like little ticket in, I guess, from like a lifestyle point of view, of being able to get like a free ticket to a festival like that you might not be able to go to. Or I guess I volunteered for stuff like Mother's Day Classic, which is for like breast cancer awareness and stuff. So being able to like bring something different. But yeah, I think always like, when you're sort of growing up and you're doing those like unskilled labor jobs, you kind of look at people that have like a skilled job, so to speak, with like a certificate or something like that. And like, there's like that's extra pay for one. But then, I guess it's just like knowing that, you can walk onto site and like you're your own boss. Like I used to do gardening and stuff as well, and like hedging, and I was like doing a gardening job in like Doncaster, I think. And then, it was to like sell the like sell a house, and like so this drone guy got there and he was just like dressed all casual and like did his thing, and and so it was another time, like that was still when like my business was in early days. I'm like, no, I want to be doing that like way more regularly, because it's definitely out there and you can sort of be your own boss, and I think that appeals to me in that way, that you can be independent and people respect your opinion when you get on site as well. And I like of course people have their own like artistic direction they want to like give, and like as a client that's fine, but then they'll also be like, oh, I know you're going to do a good job or something. And it's like affirming in like this world where, especially when you're young, like you're doing a lot of jobs where people are like telling you what's best and stuff. So because
it is one of those jobs that you have to sort of be into and research and practice first. So it's not like the everyday person would know how to fly a drone and know all the things around that.
Yeah, totally. Like, and I think it's definitely like a young person's game as well, and people that are really like have gamed and stuff like that, like literally like video games, because of like the joysticks involved as well. Like
that's how it connects with your love of video games.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I just love like controllers and joysticks, and just that like feeling of like controlling something else with two joysticks. Like when I was doing my drone course itself, like one of the instructors who was about 40 or something, but he's a helicopter pilot as well. But he was saying that a lot of people that pick it up, it's the biggest sort of obstacle of like flying drones is doing the two joysticks at once, because you can just move forward and stuff, and that's fine. But being able to do two at once, or then doing the gimbal as well, which is like three things at once. So like holding, doing, like 3 directions at once, so to speak, and then taking the wind into account and stuff. He's like, yeah, that's like the biggest thing is people just find it hard to do multiple at once. They might be able to learn how to do it, but they're still very like one plane at a time or one joystick at a time kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. Something that people would see as maybe, you know, a waste of time as a kid playing video games, but like the skills do sort of translate to niche things like that. And like, yeah, you can really, well done. Like, that's really, really cool.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, I was surprised as well. Like, and I used to work at a drone store in the city. And like another guy that works there, Sam, he has been running his business for like 3 years and like really admired his work. And I was talking to him and he was saying that like, yeah, he like plays first person shooters to like practice as well. Because it like felt full, like, you know, like works out your thumbs and then you can hold like a pan for longer and like really steady and do a lot more like manual shots rather than, because I don't like to use like the automatic flight mode, like shooting methods and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
manual always.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I still got a lot to learn, but like I think, I like the video games can help with that.
So the jobs you do, are they sort of more corporate and business that sort of keep your head above water? Or are they sort of creatives and maybe filmmakers who ask for it too? Like what's the most sort of work you get?
I guess like, like I've been lucky with some of the jobs. Like I started my business and, you know, like friends of friends at first were like, and through Instagram actually I've gotten a few jobs there, which was for like corporate as well. Like in the end, it's usually for a business as well, like whether it be like real estate development, like something that's about to be built or like a house that they want to, like advertise it to sell or like for doing landscape architecture, like mapping and I've done some like videography work for like Channel 31 and stuff, but it's I guess it is usually corporate. Like it's not usually, sometimes it's an individual that wants pictures of their house, but for the most part it's usually like businesses or like, you know, hotels or stuff like that.
So that's what they're looking for, just pictures of the, say, properties from up in the sky.
Or the general surrounds, like going to like landmarks nearby or like say usually like coastal, you know, getting some nice beach shots and stuff, and they can chuck that in with other video work that they get on the ground, because I do mainly aerial work, and I think that's sort of like where my work sort of shines, is when I'm teaming up with someone who does, you know, has all the equipment and does stuff on the ground as well, and then like has my work as part of their like project as well. But unless it's for, you know, straight advertising for like real estate and stuff. But in terms of like working with other creatives as well, it's usually like it'd be in a team, and I do really enjoy that work as well. But I guess it takes a bit more organization because it is like a team effort too. And I've only done a couple of those kind of jobs, but I'm excited to do more. Like I did one for like Miss Eco Australia. And I was with my friend Chris McGee, which was pretty fun, and it won like the best video there.
Really?
Which is pretty awesome. And I was like filmed that like earlier this year as well. So and some of the most exciting ones that I've done have been more with like other creatives, but it really depends. I'll take anything as well. Being like a freelance artist, like, you know, you've got your downtime, so. I think in terms of what comes, it's sort of, you know, you just take what you can get as well.
It's a really, you can do, I'm sure there's so much more that hasn't even really been found out. There's so much you can do with drones, and like I find there's probably more and more of a demand nowadays, especially like, with all the people making docos, is like the sort of the drone shots are really sort of, they're really part of the process of those.
Definitely. Although I'm not gonna like pretend that like flying drones is this like really unique skill. Like a lot of people who play video games, a lot of people have like grown up and or like picked it up when they first became big like 5 years ago, or even like, you know, it doesn't take years to master. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that like in terms of when I find jobs, like I found that a lot of those big companies have like not hired someone, they may have trained someone up, and like, you know, say if they already had like a photographer that already did like real estate, like they would they just get a drone like a Mavic or something like that and start flying as well. So
but it is another thing to start taking action on it as well. Keep going ahead.
It's definitely like there's so many different fields that it's like it's not good to be disheartened by being like, oh, I can't work with like some of the bigger people because they already have that done. Like sometimes it's sort of like the medium to smaller scale businesses that I work with that end up having the most promise in terms of like being a fun job that actually like sort of contributes to something a bit larger, or like say a good cause. So
no, absolutely. Is it something, say working for yourself and doing your own casual thing, is that something you've always strived to find and be able to do?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's always been a goal. I think just like in terms of when I see people and ask about like what they're happy with in their life, and yeah, like sort of, you know, like being able to just like run your own thing, whatever it is, like if you got a hobby or like say starting a business or something, I think like having that sort of passion in your life is really good. And I don't want to like fall victim to that sort of like tendency for people to want to monetize their passions as well, which I think it's good to balance like doing it just for the love of it and not just for business too, but so that's where I need to find my balance with my business too, and like not swing too far one way of like more recreational versus like business too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you were telling me how you do value taking your breaks, and like sort of, is that just like taking a step back from requests, or is it?
I guess sometimes they're not, like it's like a forced break as well.
Yeah.
But then like I will lose momentum at times as well, because like, you know, it's not like I have someone doing like marketing for me or anything like that. Like I think like 80% of being like a drone operator is actually doing like emails, as cool as the job looks like flying your drone and stuff. I'm sure same with like being a filmmaker and maybe a photographer as well, especially at first, because you're just like putting yourself out there, and you know, like you send out all these emails and maybe like 10-20% will like get back to you, or it just really depends. But then that's where some awesome jobs will come out. So it's just one of those things, you just got to like put yourself out there. Same if you're like applying for a house or a new job or like stuff like that.
Exactly.
Any kind
You
of
can't
thing,
be afraid to really jump out there.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I'll just pull back and I won't be putting all those opportunities out there for like a couple of weeks. And then like, especially if I'm doing a lot of like casual work or just something, I don't know. I guess I just go through like phases. Yeah. Which I'm sure a lot of people do, like a bit of lulls and stuff, but yeah.
And thus where we met, just casual work.
Yeah.
I love how many creatives like just do a lot of casual work. So you generally meet other creatives by doing that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I find it's really funny. Like where we work, I find there's a lot of like it's only when you start talking to them that you find out they actually do really cool things.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're doing sort of like casual work like we do, where it's really sporadic but kind of consistent as well. It's like, only the people that really like can organize their finances in those in-between times or like balance other jobs like can really do it. And it really takes like a type of person as well, because it's a lot more active than, you know, having your like 9 to 5, like 5 days a week or whatever. Like you got to like plan your schedule and find your own time to do your work as well. So I love that as well. Like especially the amount of photographers and stuff. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Was that scary for you, having this sort of not a totally stable financial situation? I am presuming that you're just doing the drones and then casual work. There's no set like part or full-time thing in your life?
Yeah. I guess like I did like 8 months of full-time work when I was like 18, 19, and I just like, it just drained me a lot. Like it was good. It was good like learning experience and stuff. But I don't know. I guess like I'm lucky that like I am kind of like financially stable in some parts of my life as well. So it has like helped me to get to these like positions now where I can be a bit more comfortable with like downtime and stuff. And I guess that takes time to like build up and just like what's happened in the past as well, luck. But yeah.
It's all a bit of that, hey?
yeah, definitely. But I guess like, you know, sometimes you need like a safety net. I think that's probably like a guaranteed thing that like makes me feel more comfortable. Like if I had, even if I'm going to get to specifics, like if I had like $2,000 or less just in my bank account, like I'd be stressed like on a daily basis. But if I can get like $5,000 or above, even like 10 grand, do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even have to be much, but like as a creative, especially like a young creative, being like realistic and being like, okay, even just a couple of grand of safety net at all times. Because then if you are just working like casual jobs and the occasional freelance, you're not just going to like have to sell your camera and like pay a bill or something. Because I've heard of friends that have done that and I feel sad for them, because it's like, I mean, everyone has different situations. I'm going to like read into it too much, but like sometimes potentially like avoidable as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's just sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think like realistically that's like really important. It's just that like planning, or at least knowing how much whatever your like safety net needs to be of like how much you spend, or like how many holidays you want to go on a year or whatever. And then it's all very doable, even if you feel like there's times where you don't get jobs for like 2 months, which like I've definitely had this year. But if you're still doing your own stuff and building your skills, and that's all right, I think. It doesn't always have to be go and stuff. Like it always feels like it should be, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a last resort plan if stuff tumble down? I'm sure it won't. You're doing great. Like you've got some spectacular stuff. Skypan Australia.
Yeah, no, it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. But like I definitely do. I've thought about it. Like, and I'm glad that I finished my degree for starters. So like I have a degree, like a Bachelor of Environments. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bachelor of Environments, majoring in landscape architecture. So to be like a fully certified landscape architect, I'd still need to do my master's for 2 years, but I could still get graduate jobs doing that. And I've studied like permaculture as well, which I think is really good because I love plants. I have a lot of plants. Like really good at taking care of plants. Just I can tell if they're like happy or not, but not so good at like binomial nomenclature, I would say, or like the Latin names of them. Yeah.
Those are some new words.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've still got a lot to learn in that way, like horticulture wise, but yeah, I've definitely got a lot of interest, and luckily that's partly why I did drones as well. Did drone, studied flying drones and got the certificate mainly so I can fly at different times and get close to people, like 15 meters, fly at night, etc. Is because with landscape architecture, like you can do orthomosaics to create like maps or photogrammetry to create 3D models and point clouds, and there's still a lot of data that you can actually get from the landscape with drones as well. So like even if I'm not just doing more of an artistic side of say taking photos and video and editing them and doing that creative output, you can still create like 3D models and maps, which is still an entirely different side of drones, which I haven't really been getting jobs doing so much, but like I've done the occasional freelance landscape design job as well and used it like alongside. So yeah, at least it's sort of like, I don't know, you can find like, if you can find a way to have multiple avenues you can go down, it sort of makes you feel a bit better.
Just a bit of everything here and there.
Yeah, which is I guess why I said artist too, because it's like if you're doing this kind of freelance work, maybe it's not good to like say I'm just a photographer or I'm just a videographer, because it's like I don't really think that is the truth about what I do. Like I actually like to experiment with lots of things, and maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot a little bit by not saying that I specify as much, but I don't know. I guess like taking as it comes. Yeah.
Exactly, do what feels right. Because I know like a lot of people would love to sort of work for themselves and sort of get out there, but they just don't know what they love to do. And they don't feel like they have the time to try things. Is that how your stuff came about? You just tried a plethora of things and you're doing the ones that you've found you really like doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you just got to like try and get it out there. Like I think, so many people fall victim to like, I gotta stop saying the word victim, but like, fall prey to, shall we say, like not putting work out there because they're embarrassed or they're like, oh, my style might change next week, but like acknowledging that it definitely will. And that, maybe this won't be very good. Or like if you're going to really like get down to numbers, say if you're posting Instagram, maybe this won't get the same engagement or whatever. But I think like it's more of like a credit to yourself to be consistent, not just in like, oh, I have to post every day, but just like creating regularly, because then like you don't even know what your style is if you're not like creating stuff. Like,
you can't be a perfectionist about it at all, otherwise you'll get nothing done.
Yeah, definitely. And like some people that are like really successful still like call themselves perfectionists, but like they still know when to let go, because it's like there's a really good saying in art that like I learned, I think, from my art teacher back in like high school. It's like true art or like real art isn't finished, it's abandoned. And like I think because if you keep going, like your style is going to change every day and you'll always have something to add to it, but like you just got to like create a deadline for yourself and be like, this is out. And that's why I like to, for example, like posting every day on Instagram or like on your website or whatever can be a good deadline that you like set for yourself, or it could be like other stuff as well.
No, exactly. But no, on the social media thing, people do really stress about the aesthetic on certain apps, say Instagram, but Instagram could disappear tomorrow. I find that if it is sort of a business, do you have a website? Yeah, you can sort of make your website whatever aesthetic and whatever style you want. So I feel like, I mean, just from personal experience at the moment, you can trial all your stuff on social media, and I feel like you can sort of be a perfectionist on your website, because that can look however you want it to be.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you can have like a more acceptable resolution. You can have like a full size image. It's not just like your 1350 by like 1080 crop.
And, the classic Facebook ruined the resolution.
It's like, there's definitely, it's like nice to be able to have somewhere else where you can, have that style and stuff. But like there are a lot of people that, like, I think that aesthetic does matter on Instagram, because like in the end, like people are going to like flick to your page, and like I know what I do as well. Like I'll like flick to it and like look at like the first like 3 rows. Yeah. Like if it's tantalizing, I'll scroll further. But like, there's definitely something to be said about like color choices. Although like I don't like I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to have an Instagram that's like blue and orange or blue and yellow, or like, just like try and pick these 2 like predominant colors. But I just got bored. Like you could have, you also don't want to like restrict your own style to the point where you're just like conforming to this sort of like aesthetic that you feel like is necessary or something, unless you just truly love, like some people seem to just really love, you know, like orange foliage and like teal water, you know, that could like really extreme, but like, and all of their work would be like that. And if they like that, that's fine. But yeah, I think it does matter when it's like a quick glance, but at least like websites doesn't really have to be that like little grid format where you're trying to like get someone's attention. Like I think someone's gone there because they like already have more like interest. Cause it's just,
they've made it to your website already.
Yeah, because like, you know, like Instagram, they can just click on like your little name or like icon or your, you know, like whatever, and it's like pretty easy, and that's usually how they'll find you, or like someone referencing you on a story. But like a website, you have to type in like, well, mine's like skypan.com.au, but you know, some could be long
keys,
and
my God,
it's like it's an
effort.
it's a full effort. Like if you think about it psychologically, like they want to be there more than the Instagram visitors. Yeah, so you don't have to invite them in with like this sort of like, you know, look at my best thing. I don't know. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. Is the Instagram aesthetic something you still like keep on the mind though, and keep trying to keep up?
Yeah, like definitely, like I'll be like, oh, I don't want to, like even if I have like 3 in a row and like the horizon, like if you're not doing rule of thirds and the horizon's like weirdly not even for them, or like even just doing too many, say, landscape panos versus like top downs and stuff, like I do try and think about like spacing so it's not just kind of weird looking, but then sometimes you just don't really want to care and you'll just like throw something out there as well. Like I've cared so much more, like got advice from like a good friend who I used to work with, and he's got like 30K followers on Instagram and stuff, and he was like, yeah, like do like dark light, and you have like these colors that keep going throughout, and his is like perfect.
Real.
And like his work does show for it as well. Yeah, like because it almost creates this like chessboard checker effect, and like really draws people
about the
in.
Checkerboard.
Yeah, and like it really depends how far you want to like go down the rabbit hole, because it really does affect your own style, I think, when you start to like really focus on the grid, and it can like have results as well, like especially if you have like, I found that if you go out and shoot enough that you have like a really big versatility of shots, when you go to a spot you get like a lot of different types of shots, like you can recycle the same work for like a year and a half just to get that grid. So it's like still achievable, like it's not like you always have to be shooting to do it, it's just like you have to really be thinking ahead, or maybe be editing and you have like the next 4 posts like ready, rather than like living to the one post. Pretty much, because like often I'll just like prepare that post for like that day, but like I think if you're doing the grid, you almost need to be doing it like a couple of days in advance.
The grid, oh dear. So then your content then, that it's sort of, you're shooting for your content to sort of show your style and put yourself out there, rather than posting content from say other jobs you do?
Yeah, like I'd say most of the stuff I post isn't from like on job sites, unless like I take a quick little like flick, but I usually be getting paid like by the hour while I'm there, and unless they like I'm going to do some promo for them, like I'll usually, the stuff that's on my Instagram is like personal stuff. Yeah, and like in saying that, like I've shot like certain locations or like businesses, and then they've asked to like buy the photo afterwards, so there's something to be said for like obviously tastefully and not trespassing or anything, but if you like, you know, highlight a business, you're doing free advertising for them, it can pay off too. So sometimes it's good to post things that like haven't been jobs. You might get more jobs, and to also just show your own work. But it just really depends what it is. Like some of the stuff, you know, I'm doing, it's just like a house. So it's like I'd rather post a picture of a beach, or like I tend to have like a theme towards like having water in my photos somehow, just because I find flying near water really nice, or I like water, like swimming, or like so it tends to be where I'll go to like shoot, or like up in Queensland as well, just like there's something nice about that as well, especially with like a lot of like drone stuff is trying to not like infringe on other people's rights and like using the space and not getting too close to them. So at the beach, like obviously people are only in the shoreline, so you really have a lot of space to fly like all the time, like even compared to like a forest, because like also over the water, like you can, you know, there's no like obstacles, whereas like, you know, you could say the same about a forest, but like there's like your visual line of sight's like obscured a lot sooner unless you're like up on a cliff or something. But then, you know, the height have to be like 120 meters, and so it's just water's the place to be, really. But I can't say that like most of my drone jobs are like actually at water.
You can sort of, you know, perfectly sort of tune what you want your stuff to look like if you're, rather than whatever random sporadic things pop up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like in the end, that's partly why I did it, is like flying drones makes me want to go explore new locations I've like been to before, like, you know, I haven't been to before, or ones that I have been to before with like a fresh set of eyes as well. So I think it's kind of good to have that kind of drive to like want to go somewhere a bit further away as well. Yeah.
Have you had any scares?
Oh yeah, yeah.
do
Oh my
tell.
gosh. Oh yeah, I've got like quite a few. So like with like obstacles.
If you're on water all the time.
Yeah,
bit of a
well, like,
spook
yeah,
too.
when I'm doing personals, I've had no issues over water, like, thank goodness, like, touch wood. I don't know if it's like wood around here or whatever, but yeah, it's like linoleum. But yeah, like, luckily over water, it's been fine. But I've had times with bees. Like, I was doing a
Bees?
job down like Mornington Peninsula for like boathouse down there in Blairgowrie, and this like swarm of bees, like while I was doing a job, just kept like attacking the drone, and like they were like getting into the shot as well as like being like massacred essentially.
Really?
Yeah, I kept having to like land it and like get away from them and stuff, and that's happened like on multiple occasions, like swarms of bees just like attacking.
Swarms of bees.
Yeah.
So not say birds or anything. Have they been an issue as well? Or?
Oh, it's kind of like birds are like pretty smart. Like they kind of like there's either like I kind of categorize them as like the smart birds, like parrots and like birds of prey, which I like keep away from a lot more. But then like flock birds usually will just like run away or like keep away from it because it's really loud. So yeah, these are usually not too bad. Like I have like flown my drone around, especially like up in Queensland, and there's been like big eagles around and stuff that are either like way above or way below the drone sometimes, like between like the ground and the drone, there's an eagle in between. But yeah, and I'm like, oh, but luckily like I haven't had any attacks or anything. When I was like filming last year at Strawberry Fields, someone threw a stick at my drone, and it nearly hit it. It was like pretty funny footage, yeah. She's like, I don't know why, and they didn't realize like I was actually only standing like a couple hundred meters away, and like had and I had to ask like this like lifeguard who was also acting as like security to go and be like, hey, can you like not throw sticks at the drone? Like this is meant to be here. Like it's not like the government spying on you. I don't know what he thought it was, but yeah, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah. What shots do you get at music festivals? Just the bands or the atmosphere, or what do they ask for?
I guess, yeah, like the larger landscape, which I think drone shots really shine, you know, that like pull back of like close and then you like go back out and like show you like how big the landscape is and stuff. Yeah, and I guess it's just that variety of like getting some close, further back, like just the whole range. But like, yeah, it really depends. I guess just the general atmosphere. And I think especially with having my license and being able to fly at night, like I don't get asked to do the like laser show, like filming very much, but I think that's somewhere where drones would really shine and where I'd love to do more work is like flying at night. Cause especially with good preparation, just going and looking at the site and making sure where the obstacles are and stuff, you can get like some really awesome shots.
Yeah.
It's just something you don't really see very often. And it's like thousands of dollars worth of equipment and all these people are putting like hours of planning. So yeah, I wish I could see more of that. Cause at the moment, like I actually don't do that many festival jobs because a lot of festival owners, you know, they'll buy their like $1,500 Mavic and just like fly it blatantly over like the population and like do top downs of like the dance floor, and you see like little like illegal shots like all the time. So yeah, I don't know, like I've actually found that it's, you know, like I've gotten like them here and there, but yeah, it's actually not easy at all. Yeah, they already know what they want and they'll just get it really quickly. Like I've at a few festivals now I've been at, you just see drones flying around, like smaller ones, not as big as my Phantom.
Really? So they're
like,
not meant to be there?
No, because they're just flying over people. Like, you know, when I film like a festival, hey Muffin, when I film at a festival, I'll like have a takeoff and landing zone and a flight path and make sure I don't get within like 30 meters of the population like at any time. But like people, they'll just do it, and because like you can't see, like once you like cut it up, like, you know, you can't always tell if people are doing it illegally, like get over to the shot or even filming the shot illegally. And some of these like festivals, sorry, getting further and further away from the mic. Some of these festival footage, that you see. Oh, where was I going to go with that? Yeah, it's just like blatantly illegal. Like even just on the like you watch it and it's just like a top down, like and there's like a crowd, like a stage. Yeah, like so it's just not. I don't know. Yeah, there's still like not. There's a lot of cowboys and like not a lot of people regulating it, I guess. But yeah.
We were just saying before how the cats don't disturb us like any podcast, but now she just really likes you, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's
we've got another guest.
Yeah, I'm a cat whisperer. Hello.
But no, I was going to ask if you're doing smaller jobs for other people, is it sort of up to you to make sure that all the legal stuff is sorted out? Like, because I feel like it's a bit of a grey area because drones are still so new coming into the scene. Yeah, and they can cause because there's like so much more danger involved than any ground filming, and then they get lumped in the category of like being an aircraft and just people.
just don't realize like how dangerous they can be. And a lot of clients will ask for work that's like potentially illegal and they don't realize, or just like a lot of festivals, you get asked to do things like quite regularly that it's like, no, I can't actually fly over that group of people because I can't get like written consent from like all of them. Or
that's how it works at festivals. It's not that they sort of own the space. It's like people are potentially in danger from it.
Yeah, and you can't just put on the ticket or like enter at your own risk kind of thing. Like, I think with drones, like it's still, luckily like Strawberry Fields, I was flying over like the Murray River and just like kept to like water again.
Yeah,
so it's just,
that's a good venue to.
Yeah. It was like, and so at a different festival, you'd just like have, like section off an area that you just take off and like fly in that little bit, or like somewhere where patrons can't go. But yeah, that's the main thing. And there's still, a lot of like consent with like sort of privacy laws, but like I obviously wouldn't fly over like residential houses and stuff, but even just like council versus like CASA, which is like Civil Aviation and Security Authority, like there's just discrepancies in laws where there are grey areas, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Is it just sort of people, or is it property too? Because I mean, we have Google Maps and Google Earth. Like that's sort of, we already have a top down of every house in the world. Like,
yeah, totally. And like you see in real estate now, especially with drone shots, like they'll blur out the like properties on the edge. And I think that is appropriate. But like technically, like if you're a certain distance away and you can't, like, especially if no one's like say naked in their backyard or whatever, like it's actually fine to take a photo. But if they were, that's like questionably legal, because you should have like, you get to like have fair use of your house, like without being looked into. But you see planes, and I see like helicopters flying over my place, and they're only like 150 meters up or something as well. So it's like, it's a weird one. It's a really weird one, because like people are like, oh, drones are spying on me, but they've gotten over the helicopters. And the same with the noise, like bothering and stuff. Think, oh, that's loud, but it's like, listen to that plane going past. You can't even like, you're like deafened. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I just saw those videos of that beach, which has an airport like right next to it. So people are chilling at the beach and a plane is literally just overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, like in Queensland, Currumbin. She's so cute though. In Currumbin, which is where my nan is, like I can't actually fly my drone down at the beach because it's like right next to the airport, and like the planes just fly like straight. And
that's
stuff.
big.
And it's and it's like we've gotten used to that. Same with like there's a lot of national parks, like especially in Victoria and New South Wales, like really strict about drone use. But then there's just planes like flying around as well, and people on their like dirt bikes, like motorized ones or whatever. And I don't know. It's really funny with all like the noise and who's bothering who. And, same with like marine wildlife and stuff, and like dolphins and whales. Yeah, it's another one, big one.
Because I mean, if you're not used to flying drones around, I imagine it can be a bit sort of confronting. Like, whoa, that's like, because they have really good cameras on there, aren't they? Not to get too technical on the podcast, but that's really interesting to me. Yeah, they've got like optical zoom and stuff. Yeah, now, that's crazy. Like on some pretty cheap ones, like $2,000 and less. So definitely have like strong cameras, so to speak. So, they're accessible to the public because it is just like buying a camera if you have money for that. Yeah, definitely. So I can understand why some people are bothered, and like, when I used to work at that drone store, like this guy came in, for example, was telling me he had like a Mavic Pro Platinum. I don't know why that's relevant, but he was like flying it around. So it's like a $1,800 drone, flying it around a crime scene, like in his neighborhood. Like there was like a raid going on like 2 blocks away. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I was like full filming it. I just wanted to like watch and stuff. And he said that there was like a hostage situation, and like he sent up a couple of batteries, and eventually he got too close and like hit a power line and it fell like at one of the like constable's feet. And like he was like, he just went and owned up to it. And they confiscated it for a bit, and I think he eventually got it back or something and may have gotten a fine. But I was like, what? Just like, why would you do that? Like, that's so close. Such a weird, such a weird story. Like, I don't know why he did that. And they're not like a subtle thing. You're right. They are very noisy fellas. Yeah, totally. And the cops would have known. It was lucky that it did fall at their feet so that he could get in trouble for it, because like, just blatantly like getting in the way, especially with all these fires at the moment. Like, I hope people just keep out of the way and don't try and go get like photos of it and stuff, because like leave it to the media and like the firefighters. Like, it's just not worth it. No, that's a big thing too. People trying to jump in on potentially very dangerous situations just for, I guess, the attention or the shot, I guess. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know, there's a time and a place kind of thing. So it's going to be another year. They just released like the Mavic Mini, which is like, I think so cheap, and it's got like a 12 megapixel camera. It's just, I don't know, like it's just another small one that's going to be like so many sold at Christmas and stuff. And there'll be like heaps more.
Like they're small, but they're still like damaging, like if it hit like an aircraft or something. So I don't know. Now I'm just saying like drones are, but like it is one of those things like you got to, I don't know. Like especially because I have my certificate now, like, or like, and certified and like insurance and all of that stuff. Like you really look at those people that like give it a bad name and you're like, can you not?
Yeah. No, but it's very interesting to hear about because like knowing about drones and the types of drones, it's not like a common knowledge thing. Like with like say filmmaking and cameras, you can sort of like, oh yeah, shutter speed, ISO, rah. It's sort of people know about it at least. For drones, it's like they're cameras that fly in the sky, but everything else like focus is just everything. Is that a thing you do as well?
Oh, luckily.
How's the focus work on a drone?
Yeah, you don't have to really think about it too much unless you're getting like close shots and stuff.
Okay.
And then like, luckily with the drone that I fly, you can like press the screen or like autofocus. So I try and actually, like when I'm about to take a photo and like film, I'll try and get it to focus, but it's like very minimal difference because it's so far away. So like it's something that I had to learn like when I've been shooting with the camera on the ground, like, oh yeah, focus. Like, it's just like, I did not think of this, but
it is all sort of like you just keep playing with it till you know it best, hey?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And like there was ages where I was just shooting like automatic just to like know, just see what it would change the settings to and be like, oh, that's what's meant to be normal sort of. And then realizing that I could shoot manual, but like luckily focus doesn't really come into it too much unless you get really close. But
yeah, for sure. So where do you hope to take it? What's the future of Skypan Australia looking like? And the creative Sarah in general?
So in the future, I definitely like I've got like a new van the last couple of months and I really want to be like just going and visiting a lot more new places and filming. And I guess in terms of like the future of my business, it's so open. Like I don't know, sometimes I worry about like how I'm not like directionless, but I'm just taking all opportunities as they come. And like part of me wants to go down more the videography route and start flying like racing quads and like building my own. Which is sort of, there's like a really steep learning curve because it's learning how to like solder and just like, I mean, there's like, probably like block coding, like, like a program where you have to like program the ESCs and like motors and stuff. So there's like a little bit of like learning, but I've been putting off wanting to learn that. And just, in terms of like artistic pursuits, I hope to do more of that and more filmmaking and documenting things and hopefully something to do with like environmental change and that kind of awareness, like whether it be for like, like rubbish or like, I don't know, even just something like I feel like there's just, I'd like to be able to like give back to something a bit larger than myself, I guess, when it comes to like my drone work. And I don't know whether that's like monetizing my business, like my prints and stuff enough that I can just give like a part of my earnings to like a charity, but that just doesn't feel like active enough. It'd be nice to like find some way to actually, sort of get things together. Is
sort of like a doco about, say, the environment something you'd pitch and try and helm and maybe pitch it to people who would support and collaborate it and that's a part.
It's definitely, that's so true. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, I think I'd like to become someone who like forward plans a lot because like even though I'm 26, I still like live in the moment a lot and like I'd like to be someone who could plan ahead because I do think that kind of stuff, it does require like planning and, getting funding or that kind of stuff. And I'd like to think that I'd be able to organize sort of those kind of projects as well because recently I was up at the World of Drones Congress up in Brisbane and listened to, it was like, like all day for 2 days listening to people speak about different fields that they're in and like studies that they're doing. And just like, I don't know, I'd love to have something that I could speak about as like a contribution to like science or information or something that actually involved my work as well. Or even if it's creative, like documenting things too, but like just something, I don't know, just to be proud of, I guess. Not to say that I'm not proud of what I've done or anything, but I think, especially we're in this like privileged position where we can do these kind of jobs and you can sort of like pick and choose. It'd be nice if it was stuff that, is like aligned to like, promoting environmental awareness or like equality or whatever it is. Exactly. Or like helping with like some of the like Aboriginal sites that are being, like logged, and, or just like forests. Or I don't know. I just like to stop being so safe and be a bit more like active with trying to help the environment. I guess just like us young people.
I mean, you say 26, but it's like we have that much time to, really try and get out there and make a difference. And I feel like you going out with your drone, as long as you don't sell the drone, like. It's like not a financially crippling thing to do that you could just keep doing it forever, really, and keep on trying to make that push for it.
Yeah, definitely. And like on that note, same with like filmmakers and photographers and stuff. Like once you have all of your equipment, like the business doesn't create like a lot of waste or things like that. Like sure, you use energy to like charge your equipment and like drive, like the driving, obviously petrol would be like a big one and stuff. But yeah, it's not like you got all this stuff to put in the bin later. So at least from that point of view, like at least you're not contributing to lots of, you know, like emissions and stuff like compared to some other jobs. I don't know. It's just like
no, exactly.
something like that too. I think someone else put it in a much more eloquent way than me, like those words once. And I was like, yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah.
A nice couple of sentences worded better.
Yeah.
No, I got what
point.
you're saying though. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, because they've definitely worked some jobs where like the waste is just shocking. So
yeah.
I think especially for like some of us younger people, we can like see that it's not like the most necessary way to like chuck out all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
with everything digital and like online, it's like there's a real sort of no waste method of going about things.
Or minimizing. Like no one can say
exactly.
they create no waste technically, but like, yeah, I mean, being realistically, yeah, it's like the like very minimal and good.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening to our environmental podcast. But no, thanks for chatting today. That was very interesting. Like I could just listen to you talk about drones all day, to be honest. It's really, really cool.
Oh, thank you, John. I really appreciate you like wanting to take the time to ask me some questions and help me formulate my own ideas. I think it actually surprised me some of my own answers to questions as well. And yeah, if anyone who wants to start their own business or do it, just run it.
Yeah.
Like just send it. Yeah.
Just send it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just a matter of if you think you want to do something, you can just go out there and try it. Like, what's the harm in trying stuff? Mm-hmm. And then,
you might find it's like your favorite thing to do ever, or and you might come back to it in a couple of years and realize it is later, but at least you started.
Yeah, exactly. You had that time. Well, I look forward to see what you get up to.
Yeah, thank you, and likewise. Yeah, have a great day. See ya.
Bye, wherever you're listening.
See ya. I don't know where Evie is, but she says goodbye as well.
To the audio-only listeners, the cat was on the table for a good majority, so go watch the YouTube version.
yeah, she made me feel very comfortable, so yeah, she's a good cat.
Yeah. Cheers. See you later.
All right, bye.
Mwah.